Hello, welcome back to another live. Although we said we wouldn't do it again. Doctales with cocktails. We're on location. We are on the road and we are traveling and exploring the wonderful state of Florida on the East Coast, coming from St. Augustine, making a little road trip. So we thought we would, record the episode here. What do you got to say?
Yeah, St. Augustine's actually a really interesting place. It's the oldest, believe it or not, the oldest European settlement in North America. It's not Plymouth Rock. It's here. By 55 years, they beat out the English.
How many people know that? Everybody thinks it's somewhere like related to Boston or Philadelphia or I don't know.
Well, there's another place in the Outer Banks called the Lost Island or the Lost Settlement or whatever, which is also older than Plymouth. These people got marooned there and everyone forgot about them. And
now, is it the oldest settlement or the oldest Spanish settlement?
No, the oldest European settlement.
There you go. Oldest European settlement.
And really the oldest permanent settlement because the Native Americans moved around a lot.
Point taken.
Yeah, they were nomads.
So today we hung out in the city, walked downtown, explored really cool old European style cobblestone streets, boutiques, shops. There's a castle on the bayfront that actually it's not a castle, it's a fort.
But they call it the Castillo.
It's called
Castillo del Mar.
Castile. It doesn't mean it's a
Castile.
castle, it's a fort. Historic lighthouse that we didn't get to, and some other fun stuff like oldest schoolhouse. Did you get the picture of that in there for them?
No. But this is video of May standing in front of this cross, which is at this mission, which is the oldest. Like this is like the spot that they founded St. Augustine, and it's got a giant cross.
Look at that. Actually, that thing was huge, hugely tall. I'm just thinking in the back of my head, huge, which reminds me of the huge presidential debate going on tonight.
Well, yeah, when this drops on Monday, we'll already know what levels of carnage has gone on with the debate. But if you're watching this live, very shortly there will be a I don't know. It's a presidential debate with it's like those two guys from the Muppet Show that's sad and like that's what it is.
I forget their name. Shoot, I could never remember their name.
But those two guys.
Yeah.
We obviously have our favorite.
If anybody
but,
knows who it is, please chime in.
The two Muppet Show guys are going to be like debating.
Pretty much. Or like, I don't know. I'm trying to think what other stupid comedy deal, kind of like The Odd Couple. Do people even know who The Odd Couple is?
Well, yeah, when one of them poops his pants and the other one has a spray tan. Other than like, it's just whatever. It's crazy. So anyways, that was the big cross. And then we're going to add this little video.
Okay.
This is May. This is this really cool.
This is a video of me walking down the Old Town area, checking out some of the shops. So if you're listening to this on the replay, you're not going to be able to see it.
But basically, it's like old Europe or old Asia almost.
Asia? Why do you even think Asia?
I don't know. Old Europe.
Not even close to Asia.
Well, I've been to old Asia.
Well, it's
Kathmandu.
It's not Asian in any means. And it shouldn't be. This is Spanish settlers. All right. What else have you got for us?
We got that. That was today. And then we have the old the video of the fort, the Castillo, with a giant thunderstorm coming. And it is literally like 93 degrees and 90% humidity. And then rain is coming. But this fort is pretty cool. They have a bunch of cannons. And yes. I like how the state of Florida, the flag, they adopted the old flag of Spain, the ancient flag of Spain, the red cross. And then they added the little Florida stuff in the middle. So they actually.
Well, that's a good trivia. Because
that's a good trivia. Really noticed that. That's what they did.
So this is the view from. We're showing the view from the fort.
The Castillo del Marco.
We got to tour it just in time before the thunder and lightning storm came And I must say, we need to endorse this product. Right before we got there, we went to the
yes, what we did is
haberdashery
we drove to
and spent money.
We
on,
drove to St. Augustine and bought a giant bag of hats.
Yes, and so the Tilly waterproof hats are my new favorite thing. I should go grab them and we can model them for you. Let's say my head stayed pretty much dry. Well, both of our heads stayed pretty much dry in the rainstorm that
100%.
came. So shout out to Tilly for your Expedition floatable waterproof hat. I'm telling you, now we need to go on a safari so we can try them out.
So I had an old one, which was kind of the canvas. This is a different material, which is way better because I can actually wear it in the ocean kiteboarding.
It's not to be worn kiteboarding. It's to be worn on an African safari.
Right. So speaking of African safari, apparently, like, because they have this great guarantee if you lose them or whatever, an elephant ate a guy's and it shat out his Tilly hat.
For real?
Yes. Yes.
And so what they did?
It shat
since he
hat.
Was able to recover the hat. He doesn't get his warranty.
I don't know,
fulfilled.
But it's like the cat in the hat, and the elephant shat my Tilly hat.
What about that?
Oh, drat! Yes, unbelievable. So then we figured, okay, so we did this little Florida thing. There's more Florida news.
Other than the big debate going on around the country.
No, there's more Florida news. The greatest of Florida news this week was the Panthers won the Stanley Cup. That was amazing.
That was big news. In fact,
that was really crazy.
We were going to head down there to the parade on Sunday coming up. But Tim is waylaid speaking at a conference.
So look at this.
So we probably won't.
There's Matthew Tkachuk in the middle.
So
they're all happy Panthers holding the Stanley Cup. They fended off the Oilers, much to the chagrin of lots of Canadians.
So he's showing a picture of the Florida Panthers winning
with the Stanley Cup. And then I reenacted this in my own home.
Yeah, and everybody's listening, so they can't
see
where I this video.
Pretended. Well, that's why they need to go to Rumble and watch it. Where I pretended to hoist the Stanley Cup in my own family room. It's a delicious picture.
It is. It's like a neon blue Stanley Cup over your head.
Well, it's very shiny.
Very shiny.
Very shiny.
Beautiful.
And then this brings us to an interesting picture. Yes, it could be that.
Then what? Forever after that, a rainbow is a bad symbol too.
Well, the rainbow is a different symbol. I'm not judging.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not judging.
I just pulled that
just
one
saying,
out of the hat.
You just, because it's the last few days of June, you just pulled that one out of your.
Okay. Well,
okay.
Think of a shamrock. So instead of the Irish
having
it as their lucky symbol, so if someone uses that as a killer symbol, then shamrock is no more.
Yeah. So swastika has forever been tarnished.
Wow.
And it's real. It's ancient meaning, not its real meaning. Its ancient meaning has been expunged from humanity
Yeah.
Thank you, Nazis.
Right. Because I don't know how many people actually know what a swastika stands for other than all things Hitler.
I wanted to know if
World War II.
if they would have said Hail Sittler, because Daryl Sittler was a very famous hockey player, but that was way after their time. That was in the 60s and 70s.
Heil Sittler.
Heil Sittler.
So if you're from Canada, you
get the joke. If you're not, you're like, who's this moron?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that was really, really pretty crazy. But there's one more Florida story, because I can't help myself. I can't help myself with doctors killing their spouses.
Another doctor killing spouse story.
Florida plastic surgeon accused of killing wife during liposuction surgery. So this is a really, really crazy story, because
and this guy looks young.
He is. He's 41.
So it's not like they're in their late 60s.
Benjamin Jacob Brown, I believe is his name, was 41, and he was doing a scar revision, a liposuction, I think, on her arms, an ear revision, a bunch of smaller procedures that he could do in his office on his wife. So first off, pump the brakes. Dude, you're doing surgery on your wife. Not cool. Like, really not cool. But there's that, okay?
Right.
So
not recommended to do surgery on your own family member.
Correct. So there's that. And then so they did that. He did that. And then the story gets crazy, because basically they arrested this guy for murder. Because what happened was, if you read the story very quickly, he was like, she started to go into cardiac arrest, and he wasn't doing chest compressions right away. And his assistants were like, what are you doing? She's dying. He had no resuscitative equipment in the office, blah, 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 right? So eventually they call 911, and they take her to the hospital, and she survives, and then she's brain dead, and they organ donate her, and she dies. But if you really read into the story, it gets really crazy, because he was doing a kind of liposuction called tumescent liposuction, which is where you mix up tumescent fluid. And tumescent fluid is a mixture of lidocaine, epinephrine, saline, and sodium bicarb. So it's this combination that allows you to inject it into the fat cells, and they get really hard, or tumescent.
Well,
what's the opposite
why
of
do
tumescent?
They get hard?
Well, because it's full of fluid.
Yeah.
So what's the opposite word of tumescent?
Because I'm thinking the combination of the lidocaine and epinephrine is standard, as well as the sodium bicarb, because it numbs up some of the pain from the injection.
Right.
Adding saline to it.
But then what it does is, because it makes it firm and kind of bulges out, it's easier to sculpt the fat removal better. So this is but here's the thing that's crazy. She mixed up her own fluid. And then she took a handful of pills that he didn't supervise, including, in the article, Valium. So God knows what she had pre-med. And it looks like she died of an overdose of lidocaine. Which is possible with this tumescent fluid, which could have way too much lidocaine. So in a way, plausibly, she may have actually killed herself. Right. And then he just neglected.
So accidental drug overdose of a combination of lethal doses of lidocaine and
plus other drugs,
sedatives,
plus gross negligence on his part, because he didn't, call 911.
That's a sad story.
It's a super sad story.
A lot of people don't realize you can overdose on the lidocaine, especially those injectable type stuff. Now, it takes a whole heck of a lot and depends on your body weight, but there is a maximum dose. And I've heard of that before, where people have just received so much, even under local anesthesia, for like large lacerations, say on their thigh, and someone's sewing up, and they just keep injecting more and more, depending on how much fat you have, because fat soluble, I think, makes a difference. Anyway, there is a lethal maximum dose for that stuff, and you need to know it if you're using that medication. And anesthesiologists totally know it.
So, yes.
Most other people don't think
about it. So when I was thinking about this case, we've done two cases that were like this one here in Florida that happened back in like October or November. And then we did another case several months ago where this guy who was a resident killed his wife who was a nurse, like using some like colchicine. Remember that? Like that was like, why would you use that, right? So then I got to thinking, we graduate about 51% female physicians in the United States versus 49% male. So how come only male physicians are killing their spouses?
It's like 2% more.
I know, but I'm thinking this is my theory. I think the female physicians that kill their spouses get away with it because they're smarter at that. I think that's the case. I think
you're
the
onto
males are
something.
careless and dumb, and the females are super careful because
think-
they don't have they maybe have more, you know, of a self-confident. I gotta really be, because we've seen that in some female physicians where, you know, the imposter syndrome is real for most doctors. I think it's a bigger issue for most females. I think that's just true. And so I think that makes them better killers.
Well, if your hormones aren't balanced properly, which
Well,
some of us are going through, it can sure bring on some raging attacks.
yeah. So
so
if I wake up dead, I wasn't suicidal, just like Jeffrey Epstein.
no, I would probably murder the bed before I murdered you. That's a whole other subject.
Yeah, we're not going there.
The bed.
We're not going that time.
Yeah, no, that's a really, I like your theory on that one. I'll have to think about that one some more.
Because I mean, I get it. There's less women that are murderesses. You know, women tend to kill less often than men. So that there's that. But I find it hard to believe that there isn't at least one female doctor that hasn't tried to offer us.
Oh yeah, you just need to probably search deeper in the news and you'll find it. Yes. What else you got for us?
I don't have much else. I had like Florida and hockey and swastikas being like co-opted by the Nazis, and our fine Ukrainian women can no longer have a swastika hockey team. Like, what does the world come to? 100 years of
that whole swastika has been eradicated from anybody's wallpaper usage or
well, can you imagine
whatever.
if you went into a hotel and they had like, instead of like kind of a houndstooth pattern, it was just like little tiny swastikas all together and you couldn't really tell, and then you looked really close.
Wow.
That would be super funny. That would be funny.
That would be something.
Oh, beverage.
So we happened upon.
So in my BS Free MD chalice is.
He's drinking it right now. So he stopped talking.
Oh my gosh, it's good. Listen to that ice.
I should bring the box over here so everyone can see it.
No, I have the bottle right there. Right behind you.
I was thinking of the box of his spirits. So these are from St. Augustine, Florida, Citygate Spirits. Oops, there we go. I'm not holding it up to the camera properly. Let me get that. There we go. And what is this flavor you are drinking, my dear?
I don't know. It's orange. It's called something orange.
Orange and cream moonshine.
Yeah, so it is literally like eating a creamsicle when you were a kid, except it makes you not hate people. It's awesome.
Now, they have mostly whiskey there, flavored whiskeys.
But that one they had...
They did have rum.
They had one, it was cookie dough whiskey, which sounds completely ridiculous, and it was amazing.
It was pretty good. Peanut butter. There was like a smoked maple.
The maple. I think
it was smoked maple.
Which was basically like, it was like maple syrup on like pancake. Like you could literally dump it on your pancakes.
Yeah, I didn't try that.
I would call those happy cakes.
As well as a lot of moonshine, and they have a lot of mixes there. And the coconut rum, I didn't like that one myself personally. I think there's a peach as well. Oops, a peach.
There's a lot of flavors.
Yes. So they're giving free tastings and super friendly people in there. They have deals. If you buy more, save more, of course. Tim's always about the deals. So we may be
The more you
featuring,
spend, the more you
we may be
save.
featuring another bottle of this next week if we can keep it till then. So
Well, that's a big F.
pretty cool. Citygate Spirits in St. Augustine.
And yeah, St. Augustine is really different than lots of other places in Florida. Like it really is, because it's this, they call it the ancient city because it is the ancient city. It's the most ancient European city in North America. So, and lots of that vibe still exists. It's Spanish, but in a way it's not Spanish, because actually we went out for dinner and the server explained to us about how there was the island of Mayorkas.
Yeah, he said Menorca. I thought it was called Majorca. Pronounced
Whatever.
Majorca.
Yeah, really, the people that built the city were from that island
in Spain.
In Spain, and so they kind of like to think of it as their city. So it's Spanish, but it's got its own kind of flavor, and it's not.
It doesn't feel Spanish to me now.
It's not,
I would say it doesn't.
And it's not like Latin America Spanish, even though it's in the Caribbean. Like it's really crazy.
It's very Americanized now, but aside from that, it's really pretty. 2 amazing bridges. There's a historical lighthouse, and then beautiful beaches, which I've seen before when our son was running the 100-mile little jaunt down the coast here. So I've seen it before. It's really beautiful. Tim will get to see it tomorrow on our way out of here. But something for everyone, that's for sure. Super.
Yeah, no, it's
great. A great little tourist destination to get to, and we're
highly recommend.
Happy to spend the day.
Highly recommend.
There you go.
And if you know of any female physicians that have murdered their husband, we'll get on that story. Please let us know. I will research the heck out of it.
I was just gonna say, we talked about the story in Oregon last week about the
We're doing that next week. Which one? Which story? Sorry, I interrupted you. Bad me.
The story about the microaggressions.
Yeah, no, that's coming next week.
Oh, I thought we talked about it last week.
No, it's brand new.
Oh.
That is a hot off the press story. Went straight to Rick Dancer. I did a talk on that.
Okay,
and we're going to do it next week. Next week, we are bringing some heat on some super duper insane medical stories.
I already dropped a little teaser because I posted it on our Facebook page. So if you want to see Tim's interview with Rick Dancer, it is posted on our Facebook page.
There's some other, we have 2 or 3 really crazy stories that are all medically based where you go, okay, we're in a simulation. This is so dumb.
Right. Well, since I already brought it up, he was on Rick Dancer's show, Get Real with Rick Dancer, talking about the new law that the Oregon Medical Board wants to put into effect where they can
sanction your license for microaggressions
against a patient.
And microaggressions are such things as saying, America is the land of opportunity. I think the best person should get the job. But you can only only microaggress against somebody who's a protected class, a minority. So if you're a white male, they can say whatever they want to about you, and it can never be a microaggression.
Your feelings will never be hurt.
No, because I don't have feelings because I'm a white male. Oh. No, it's completely it's so completely ridiculous. I'll go completely ape on this next week, but it is nuts. It's really, really nuts. And they should be shamed to the point where they don't vote on it and it just goes away because it's so stupid. That'll be
a bang up episode right before the 4th of July. So
kaboom. Yeah. And then
what's coming out on the podcast this week?
Roger McFillin. Unbelievable. He has a podcast called Radically Genuine. He is a amazing psychotherapist, calls BS on his own profession like crazy, has done tons and tons of research on psychotherapy. We go through all of the drugs and why most of them should never be prescribed as far as psychotropics, in other words, depression medicine, et cetera, et cetera. Very, very smart person. And the part I like the best about this interview is really got into the whole medicalizing normal. A lot of life is just hard and it's supposed to be hard and it's supposed to be anxiety producing and whatnot. And we just medicalize normal. And that's made me crazy forever.
No, that was the biggest takeaway of that episode, about how we want to put a diagnosis to everybody's strife, grief, struggles. Let's turn it into some diagnosis. You can throw some pills at it to try to make it better. Pretty much mess everybody up more than need be. And that we need to get back to saying it's okay to feel this way.
Well, we also need to get back to
Resilience.
You're supposed to feel this way.
That's what I just said.
Right. No, but you said it's okay to feel this way. It's not okay. You're supposed to feel this way. You know, I had a patient that I saw, I don't know, whenever, several weeks ago. And she's in her 80s or 90s. And she lost her husband of 70 years. And, you know, she has, like, they made grief a disorder. So she has prolonged grief disorder or prolonged bereavement disorder. And I sit there and I go, look,
it's a disorder.
Look, if you have never been depressed before in your life, and you've had a normal life, and you had this great marriage, and you're married for 70 years, and you lose that spouse and you can't get over it, that's what you're supposed to do. You're never supposed to get over that, ever. How do you gauge a loss of that magnitude? How do you give pills to make somebody like feel less of that loss? No, they should feel all of that loss. They should never get over it, ever. They should get through it. They should never get over it. Or what did that 70 years mean? Yeah. If you just, well, I get over it. It's, you know, I really loved Lassie. She was a great golden retriever, but she died. And you know what? It's really sad to lose pets. I still miss my dogs unbelievably. But you know what? When you get another dog, you tend to kind of forget about the first one, at least a little bit, because it's a dog. It's not a husband of 70 years. Never get over that. It drives me crazy. We medicalize that. And it's like, well, you shouldn't be sad anymore. No, you should be sad for the rest of your life if you lose a spouse.
Oh,
like, come on.
Wait a minute. There's a balance.
No, you should be. It doesn't mean you should be debilitated. It doesn't mean you should be crying in bed every day.
Well, right. Well, a lot of people would think that if you're supposed to be sad for the rest of your life, that's what that means.
No, I think it means
that you're crying in bed, debilitated every day. And so you have to be careful.
Well, yeah, but that's not being. Yeah, I get that. No, but are you supposed to, like? How do you get like? How are you supposed to get over?
A lot of people, you say, well, how do you react, or how do you act when you're sad? Well, I'm in bed. I can't get up. I don't get dressed.
No, it doesn't mean life doesn't go on. It doesn't mean you don't
miss them.
It doesn't.
And still function.
Right.
But a lot of people would say, well, I guess I'm not sad about it anymore. I miss them, and it
breaks but I don't think that's
word choice.
Yeah, it's true. But I don't. Be careful. But I agree. I have to be careful. But I still think there's more to it than that. I mean, you talk to people that have had these kind of losses, and they do fine. They go back to work. Some of them get remarried. Like they move on. Like life goes on, and then they see something and reminds them of their partner, and they're right back, and they're crying, and it's sad because they never got over it. And to me, I'm like, exactly. Life goes on, you get through it, but you never get over it because you're not supposed to get over it. You're not supposed to be debilitated. You're supposed to be resilient. But 20 years after a loss like that, like if something happened to you, and there's a day where I just have to check out because, like, for whatever reason, I'm reminded of what I lost, I think that's actually beautiful. I don't think that that's sad. I think it's wonderful because you had the privilege of having that in your life, that 20 years later, it's so meaningful. And part of the reason you get on with life in a loss like that is because you know that that's what your partner would want.
Right. So the conversation anyway with him
it's
really dives into trying to help people figure out what is normal and that it's okay to have those feelings for whatever period of time or the rest of your life. And
it's like if you're a teenager and you're anxious, that's not a disorder. That's called being a teenager.
Yeah. Anyway, great interview. We hope you check it out. We've had so many amazing guests lately, diving into the psychology of the mind. Dr. Keith Abloh, and then I'm thinking before that with. I'm thinking of the near-death experience.
Oh, you're thinking of Eben Alexander, and then
But anyway, more great stuff to come. So let's take that one from this week and give it a listen. Let us know what you think. There's been lots of comments on the interview with with John Burke on the near-death experiences,
Yes.
especially on the YouTube channel. So fascinating to listen to that episode. All right, if that's it for now, we're going to wrap this up.
And then
I hope you guys.
I'm going to plow through a bunch of
checked.
Citygate spirits so I can tolerate watching the debate.
I want people to check out the new website.
Yes, the new website is unbelievable. It is so amazing.
So our new website is now up and running this week. That's pretty fun. You get to go on a motorcycle ride with Tim through the Oregon forest at the beginning, and lots of
Sign up for the newsletter.
Yes, lots more stuff on there, linking our Truth Serum blogs and more. So check it out, bsfreemd.com. Until next week, signing out.